If you have not yet received your box, spoiler warning, this is full of spoilers. You're going to see all of the items in here. So if you don't want to be spoiled, come back to this video after you've opened up your box. If one of you guys gets one of these, I guess there'd be, what, 100 signed items, leave a comment down below. Let us know what number you got as well as what item you had signed. Here we go. Number 1 of 10. First one signed. And for those of you who do get this signed item, we're including a set of unsigned ones because, you know, you got to be able to use them. What are you working on, Mama?
Putting something very special into each box.
Everyone, this is Addix, and he's also Dustin and Ayla's son, and this is Addix's brother, Paxton. The moment has come. I'm going to randomly put items in your boxes, so good luck. You want to help me randomly put these in boxes?
Yeah.
I'll move this and that. Jazz, we got to put this in one of these boxes. This one? All right, here we go. And of course, Reese's peanut butter cups because, you know, it's my favorite. All the boxes are sealed and taped and they're just waiting for their labels to be shipped to you. And here's Mom Potter Collector again.
Hi again.
I'm gonna hand you over to Addix and he's gonna do some vlogging. So, Addix, take over. Are you willing to take over? All right, here you go.
Hi. The Keep Collecting box from the Wizarding Trunk. So are you taping right now?
Yeah.
Are you having fun with the camera? That camera looks good with you. That's who has the camera.
Is Peter back yet? So the Keep Collecting boxes have 10 things in them. 10 things, yeah, that's a lot. Some of you lucky people will get signed things from Peter. So cool. And we all have the same shirts. I need Peter to be back. I don't know how to do this.
I'm back.
Oh, yay!
Just like magic, and I think you did just great. All right, let's go around and check out some names and locations. So let's see, we have Chris in Savage, Minnesota. We've got your box ready to go. Candace in Toronto, Canada. You get a box. Cassidy in Forest, Virginia. Carmela in New Friedman, Pennsylvania. I saw addresses for Puerto Rico and the UK, Czech Republic, all over the world. There was even a box that was going to a country I had never heard of. The Wizarding Trunk and the Keep Collecting box, this is going all over the world. Super cool, super exciting. Matthew in Australia, we've got your box packed there. I hope that you guys enjoy these boxes. I hope that if you received them that you enjoyed all the items. Let me know what you think. The other really cool thing, to see a word you made up on a box just printed out is pretty crazy. Fragical delivery. And fragical means a fragile, magical item. Fragical. And actually, Fragical I made up in a Wizarding Trunk unboxing. So, thanks Wizarding Trunk. So Dustin and I just went to the print shop to pick up some items. And we also picked up the prizes for those of you who found that prototype designed by JP Misselcrow. Oh, there it is. Oh, underneath. So that's the mat. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the mat.
Such a cool like design. Wait, let me flip this. That is so cool. So the border is like, it's not textured, but it looks textured. So beautifully done. And of course, an eagle. It's here.
It's here.
It's here. It's time. Guys, the Keep Collecting box, all the items are in here. And we're just going to go through each of the items and talk about how we came up with them, the different prototypes, etc. And any stories that come to mind. The box has been opened.
Let's go with gloves first.
All right, gloves first. This was the hardest thing to find.
For sure. So the gloves were probably the longest item to produce, to find the right material, to find a manufacturer that would actually agree to do it in the timeline that we needed it done. And we went through probably 4 or 5 samples of gloves to get to where we ended up.
Oh, and different like glove styles and here's the Franken glove. I did chop them up because I thought, you know, to make it more kind of patchworky, could we use different fabrics? So I cut different ones up and just try to see what it would look like, and obviously we didn't like how that looked. These were more like driving gloves, so that didn't fit with like an actual work glove. These were also kind of like driving gloves,
but they were a little smaller.
And we wanted oversized dragon hide gloves because kind of what they would be like. This is the final product. We used black stitching to kind of highlight everything. And the label was graphic designed by Danny at Wizardry Workshop. I wanted it to look like you went to a magical shop and purchased brand new dragon hide gloves. The other thing is these are usable. You could actually use them or display them. They're really soft on the inside. And again, I love the oversized look of them. Remember the one sample that was sent that was like twice this large?
Oh, they were huge.
It's gigantic. This was a good final product.
Yep.
The sword pen, the Lion Sword Pen. So originally you were sourcing a resin item. I think you called me one day and you're like, we could make it out of metal.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding me? We can make this out of metal?
So we had previously in our box done a letter opener. And when Peter said he wanted to do it as a pen, I already had the design from our letter opener and we just had to get it made into a 3D design. The factory we were working with was originally going to make it out of resin and they said that they could do it out of metal and then add the gem actually in the tops. We just decided that quality-wise that would probably be a better fit for the box than a resin pen would be. We will go with my favorite item out of the whole box, which is really sad because it's not my house item. Woohoo! Peter had come up with the idea for the item and we talked to Danny about it and he just kind of took off with it and designed something cooler than I think either me or Peter had imagined.
Yeah.
And it is the coin bank.
My thought was I wanted it to look like you literally took a door out of a wall and that's what this is. So it's just surrounded with bricks and stones and then you see those snakes curling around in the center and then the top is where the coin goes. So well designed, well painted. And then here's a prototype which shows just kind of a lighter paint. So it has more light and tan colors mixed in, but we felt that the darker kind of gray tones suited this piece a little bit better, made it look a little bit more realistic. The boating balls. So these are iron balls from the Wizarding Sport that try to knock you off of your broomstick. So this item here represents the badger trait patience. This idea came from, so originally I had a round table with some family and friends just to like brainstorm different things that would go with different house traits. The idea to have boating balls, which are Chinese meditation balls, and the twin iron spheres of the Wizarding Sports came to mind, and I think they came out perfectly. So here's the prototype. You see they're a little bit lighter. The darker color is more authentic to what these spheres look like.
When we got the prototypes, there were a few issues. The lighter color, they didn't tend to stay together very well, so we had to troubleshoot that. But overall, they turned out really, really good. Peter had the amazing idea to include the stands for them that are in the boating ball boxes. So that way when you display them, you can just have them sitting out either on top or in front of your little trunk that they come in.
I don't want something that's just displayable. I want something you can use too. Obviously, some of the items are just going to be displayable, but I love practical items too. And that was really important for me in curating this box, to have something that is beautiful that you can display, but also that's something that you can use. And that's kind of both of our mindsets when it comes to, you know, this sort of thing in magical items. So,
and speaking of beautiful to display, this box.
The box was designed by Danny at Wizardry Workshop. He did all of the graphic design work on the Keep Collecting box and knocked it out of the park.
We'll go with the potion next.
Okay.
So this was made for us by Pure Blood Apothecary. They make all of the potions for our boxes. The potion was picked out by Peter, and we went with Wit Strengthening Potion for one of the eagle's traits of wit. It's designed so that it has the correct colors for the eagle house, where it has the bronze and blue, and the mascot on this one is an eagle charm at the top there.
You'll never see a raven, ever.
But it is a blue liquid, and then you shake it, and you have that blue swirly effect. We didn't go with your handwriting on the sides, did we?
No, we didn't. So when Danny designed the label, he had ingredients and what you would use the potion for in a handwritten font. And then I thought, oh, maybe it'd be cool if I wrote it out and then, you know, it was digitally put onto the label so it looked like I wrote it, and it just didn't work. Beautiful label, just overall looks fantastic, and it's gonna look great on your potion shelf. Let's go with this here. All right, this item right here, are we ever gonna reuse the thing?
Maybe. I like it.
We might use it. I was gonna tell you what the item was. You may have heard there was an item that arrived 2 weeks ago, and an amazing amount of them arrived broken. So we're like, okay, we can't ship late. That was the other thing. This had to ship on time no matter what. Originally, I told Dustin, I was like, we should ship in November. And he's like, no, I really think the first week of January, we need to do it the first week of January. And let me tell you, I'm so thrilled that he went for that first week of January date, because we would have been 2 months late.
Yeah.
So we are right on time. So with the items that arrived that were broken, we're not telling you because, again, we might use it in the future. Oh, that's kind of a spoiler. Spoiler alert. We're not gonna say any more. No more questions. Don't ask any more questions. We had to come up with an item that would not put us behind on the shipping schedule. So Dustin's like, well, you love pins. What if we did an oversized pin? So then we thought, okay, what should we do? And he said, well, what if we did the crest that we see on all of the items? So for example, at the top of the trunk here, we see that crest, and we see it on several other items. So we just kind of modified it a little bit to make it one of the lion items and put the lion trait chivalry on this crest, as well as added a few lions. And it is a 3-inch metal pin with 2 clasps, so you know it's a really heavy metal pin, and it's just fantastic. Dustin called me and he's like,
devastated.
Yeah. And then I was devastated, and it's like, okay, what do we do? And then we're brainstorming other items.
We were looking for like a ceramic stein, other travel mugs and things that would have been a little easier to get our hands on, but then we decided that a lot of people do those to try to come up with something a little different and more unique, more personal to the box, fit the theme a little better. So we were up until 1 a.m. one night to get it designed and everything in production, literally the same day that we received everything that was damaged.
One of the things that's cool about this crest is it says underneath Persevero Collegendis, and that means keep collecting in Latin. I can't take credit for that. Well, I did think about it.
So Danny put that on the items, and then I was talking to Peter, and he was like, well, that would be genius. And he translated what was on it.
I Google translated, and I was like,
Danny had already done it.
So the special award for services to the school, this represents ambition for the serpents, and as a serpent, you know, I have ambition to achieve goals, and sometimes when you achieve goals, you get an award. So I thought, okay, achievement, award, perfect award for special services to the school. So this we designed as a small plaque, a displayable plaque. We wanted the center to be metal, and it is metal. So here's the first prototype. What are some of the differences?
The wording and the outside of the plaque itself are just etched on this and then painted to be like a silver color to match the center. And then they gave me the option to switch it to do all metal. So on the one we finally went with, the words are metal, the outside is metal.
When you put them side by side, there's like no comparison. This is just without a doubt the higher quality item. And then color wise, as Dustin was talking about, originally it was more of like a cherry wood, and we both thought a darker brown walnut color would fit this better. So, and it's made of wood too. So it's not resin, it's not plastic, real wood, real metal. These are also for the eagles. So in school, in order to learn, you're going to need to go to classes. So we have a class schedule, and sometimes you have to go to the bathroom or go somewhere, so you're going to need a hall pass so you can leave class. And you also have to learn by looking at books and reading books, a library card. So these are 3 magical items that Dustin, myself, and Danny at Wizardry Workshop came up with to represent wisdom.
Actually, probably my favorite of these is the library card. There's so much gold foil on the front. The crest is represented, I believe, on all 3 of these pieces in some way. So you have the helmet for the crest on this, and then on the back it gives you access to the restricted section. Danny again designed all 3 of these pieces, and he did a phenomenal job, but out of all 3, I think the library card is probably my favorite.
Gold foiling is beautiful. Now originally the class schedule, like the whole thing was gonna be gold foiled, and we were looking at it and thought, that's just too much. So we wanted the crest to really stand out, so that was the only thing that we foiled, and really just, you know, some other things changed here and there. A little hidden funny thing on this is on the original design, I wanted the potion bottle to be flipped. It just seemed like everything was going in one direction, so by flipping it, it kind of broke up that same direction. So Danny flipped it, and then in the potion bottle, it says wit. When it was flipped, the words got flipped too, so now it's TIW.
TIW.
But it really does say WIT, so...
Look at it in a mirror.
And you'll also see some other things on the class schedule that represent items that you get in the box. So I'm just going to put this up here. If you did not get the box, you can see if you can find any of those items. And if you did get the box and you have this in front of you, see what you can discover. This took some going back and forth with wording and time changes, getting everything to fit in, and oh, this class is back to back on 2 days, so we got to move this with this class. You know, what extracurriculars should we do? This took a lot of design, but in the end, it's amazing. So you all know what my favorite of the series is. Look at the year on the class schedule. So the last item is the hall pass.
Danny pretty much designed this from beginning to end. There were several things on some of the other things that we all kind of pitched in on and gave input, but when we saw this from Danny, it was, he hit it out of the park. There was nothing that needed to be changed on here.
It's like, that's done. Even the places that he designed to be foiled, just everything on this is perfect. Talk about this a little bit, because this idea came a long time ago. Before the Keep Collecting box was even thought of or anything, I had some pictures of me taken in my cosplay of our most favorite headmaster, then turned it into a magical portrait, posted it on Instagram, and then Dustin commented on that Instagram post and said,
if I ever do a box with that person in there, I'm stealing this. And I did.
And he did. So we have a portrait pin of me as our favorite headmaster. This is a weird thing to see, I'll tell you that. When I first saw this, I was like, wait, what? First of all, it's my favorite character, but also it's me in a portrait. It's just a weird experience. This whole thing is a weird experience. So there it is. And it's a pin. And I love pins. This was more of like an extra item.
Yeah.
Just as a thank you from me and from the Wizarding Trunk for buying the Keep Collecting box. It doesn't really go with the theme of house traits.
Even looks like it's got glass over the top of it. The frame is made out of metal.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, the last item. These are greeting cards, a set of 4 greeting cards, and the idea came from a Potter Collector community member. So this was inspired by something I received in one of my P.O. Box videos, and they made house robes out of construction paper. I thought to myself, this has to be done. We have all 4 of the houses represented here as greeting cards in, of course, the correct house colors. So you'll see bronze and blue for you Eagles. And you'll also notice that same crest on the front of the robes. We went back and forth about what to have on the inside.
We initially had planned to leave the bottom half to be like it kind of fade to light gray. When Danny sent it back, he said, okay, I did that, here it is, but here is what I would do. So he sent us this, and it just gives you a place to write your note in there, and we all quickly decided that that was the winner.
Yeah, so you open up the robes to reveal the message, and then on the back of each of them you see the robe hood. This is probably in my top 2 or 3 favorite items in the box. I just think they're so incredibly cool, and you know, if I ever write something to you, you're probably going to get one of these house robe cards from me. And then the other thing with the greeting cards was, do we get everyone's house when they order the Keep Collecting box and put in their particular house card in the box? And then we thought, no, let's give them all 4 of the houses, because all 4 of the houses are represented in this box. And this one here, this item here, ties everything together as one item, even though it's 4 different items, but it's kind of one item, the greeting cards.
We kind of went back and forth on the design too, so if it was just going to be a robe that, like a regular card that opened up.
Yeah, something like this where it's just folded in half and it has the robe on the front and then it just opens like that. And I think this is pretty darn unique. So thank you, Potter Collection community member, for the inspiration for these robe greeting cards. This box collaboration and the thought for the box started in February of 2020. So it's almost been 2 years. And it's been a fun ride. It's been so fun for me to collaborate with Dustin. We've become friends from this. It's cool to see kind of the behind the scenes of a subscription box in general, but specifically the Wizarding Trunk and how you guys function. Obviously the designing and the sourcing of things, and also the packing. So Dustin and Ayla, who are the owners of the Wizarding Trunk, and their elves, and myself and Mama Potter Collector, we all came together and packed the Keep Collecting box ourselves, which was crazy. Fun, but crazy.
Fun but crazy.
I just also have to applaud you for the incredible company you created in 3 years. 3 years? 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Check the description down below if you would like to give the Wizarding Trunk a try. When it comes to this box, it's sold out. currently still sold out, but some of the individual items will be available for sale on the Wizarding Trunks website.
And I don't know if we should tell them, but if you enjoyed the Keep Collecting box, this may not be the last Keep Collecting box you see.
No more questions. Don't ask any more questions. Thank you to Dustin and Ayla, the Wizarding Trunk, the elves, to Danny at Wizardry Workshop, to my family and friend Round Table at the beginning of this.
Mama Potter
Collector for all of your help and just making this a fun experience and something I won't forget. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sometimes with hard work, you need a break, right? So we are gonna build some magical Legos. Cue the time lapse. So here is the finished product. It's a herbology classroom. We have got a magical plant there. We have some characters. We have pumpkins, a watering bucket, and then show us how the book folds up.
Here's the tiny book.
That's pretty cool. Put that in the cupboard and fold that thing up. And look, it's all stored in this magical Lego book.
Cool.
High five. What's your favorite item in the box?
I really like the coin bank.
Yeah, the coin bank is crazy.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
it's super cool.
I do too. How about you, Jessica?
I think I like the pen, the little sword pen.
Yeah. What's your favorite item in the box?
Everybody's going to think it's because I'm Mama. Maybe it is because I'm Mama, but I love the pin.
All right, guys, that is the end of this behind-the-scenes vlog. If you have any questions about Harry Potter or collecting, feel free to leave a comment down below. You can also join the Potter Collector community on Instagram at the Potter Collector or on Twitter at Potter Collector. You can also find the Wizarding Trunk at the Wizarding Trunk on Instagram and Facebook. Now it's time to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time,
Keep
collecting!
Oh my.
Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, welcome. You can subscribe right up here. You can also look at some previously posted content down here. If you have any questions about Harry Potter books or collecting, please feel free to contact me. I'm always happy to help. But for now, I must go. See you next time.
Whoa, where'd he go?